Durapaha,
Durapaha,
unobtainable.
unobtainable.
Kapat,
Kapata,
deceptive.
deceptive.
Ruchira,
Ruchira,
charming.
charming.
Hasa,
Asa,
with smiles.
with smiles.
Bhru,
Bru,
of whose eyebrows.
of whose eyebrows.
Vijrambhasya,
Vijrimbhasha,
the arching.
the arching.
Yah,
Yaha,
who.
who.
Syuh,
Shuhu,
become.
become.
Charana,
Charana,
of the feet.
of the feet.
Rajaha,
Rajaha,
the dust.
the dust.
Upaste,
Upaste,
worships.
worships.
Yasya,
Yasha,
whose.
whose.
Bhutihi,
Bhutihi,
goddess of fortune, wife
the
of Lord
goddess of
Narayan.
fortune. Wife of Lord Narayan.
Vayam,
Vayam,
we.
we.
Ka,
Ka,
who.
who.
Apicha,
Apicha,
nevertheless.
nevertheless.
Kripana pakshe,
Kripana pakshe,
for those who are wretched.
for those who are wretched.
Hi,
He,
oh sorry, yeah, he.
he, indeed.
Indeed, thank you. Okay, Uttamaha Shloka,
Uttama Shloka,
the Supreme Lord,
the Supreme Lord,
who is glorified by the most sublime prayers.
who is glorified by the most sublime prayers.
Shabdaha,
Shabdaha,
the name.
the name.
Translation. In heaven, on earth, or in the subterranean sphere, what women are unavailable to him? He simply arches his eyebrows and smiles with deceptive charm, and they all become his. The Supreme Goddess herself worships the dust of his feet. So, what is our position in comparison? But at least those who are wretched can chant his name, Uttama Shloka. Purport. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti states that Radharani's speech, expressing all the feelings of a disappointed lover, indicates an intensity of love for Shri Krishna surpassing even that of the goddess of fortune. While all the gopis are perfectly compatible with Shri Krishna in terms of their beauty, temperament, and so on, Srimati Radharani is especially so. In a forlorn state, Radharani indicates to Krishna, you are called Uttamaha Shloka because you are merciful to the wretched and fallen. But if you would be merciful to me, then you would actually deserve the exalted name. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti further points out that in this verse, Srimati Radharani expresses her spite born of pride, accuses Krishna of being a cheater, and finds fault with his behavior. Thus, this verse contains speech known as Ujjalpa, as described in the following verse of the Ujjwala Neelmani 14:188. Hare kuhakatakyanam garbhitayer shaya sasuyascha tad akshepo dhirair ujjalpa iryate. The declaration of Lord Hari's duplicitous nature in a mood of spite, born of pride, together with jealousy, spoken insults directed against him, has been termed Ujjalpa by the wise. So let's repeat the translation, then we start the class. In heaven, on earth, or in the subterranean sphere, what women are unavailable to him? He simply arches his eyebrows. And smiles with deceptive charm. And they all become his. The Supreme Goddess herself worships the dust of his feet. So what is our position? In comparison? But at least those who are wretched can chant his name, Uttama
can,
Shloka.
can chant his name Uttama Shloka.
Jai.
Jai.
Srimati Radharani ki Jai.
Jai.
Okay, so what's going on here? Well, let's go back a little bit. And let's go back a little bit more than I was thinking before. Let's go back to the time when it's time for Krishna to appear in the material world. And let's look at his thought process. So remember, Krishna normally sends his expansions as incarnations. And they come from millennium to millennium to establish the religious principles and protect the devotees and kill the demoniac. But Krishna is not interested in any of that. He appears only once in a day of Brahma, which is like once in a when 8.6 billion earth years. So when it's time for him to appear, he's thinking, and this is a quote from Chaitanya Charitamrita. It says, Shakal Jagate Kare More Vaidhi Bhakti. Ashwar Shithil Prem Nahi More Priti. Translated, it's saying that the whole world is busy performing my Vaidhi Bhakti, the devotional service, in a mood of awe and reverence. But it says, when awe and reverence is mixed with my devotional service, then I don't particularly care for it. Yeah, you can get my attention. I can give you bhukti mukti, the liberation and enjoyment. I can give you all that. I can even send you to Vaikuntha. But I'm not interested in you. Nahi more priti. There's no feeling of love in my heart for you. So that's one point that he's got in his mind. Second point in his mind is that I only want to go to interact with my pure devotees, pure unalloyed devotees who don't even realize, or I should say, who won't even realize that I'm actually God. Because for those people who are understanding that I'm God, my interactions are more like business-like. But with those people who are pure devotees, my interactions are totally different level. So much so that I actually come under complete control of them. And that actually is depicted very nicely in the Damodar Ashtakam that Mataji was just beautifully chanting, really beautifully done. And if you go to number 3, the stanza number 3, it says, and I cannot sing as well as she did, Iti Drakswalila Bhir Ananda Kunde Swaghosham Nimajjantam Amakhyapayantam Tadiyeshu Tagyeshu Bhaktar Jitatva Punah Prematastam Shatavritti Vande. So the last 2 lines is saying, Shatavatman is saying that Krishna is Akhya. Akhya means to declare, to tell everybody. So Ghosham means I'm also same thing. I'm telling this to people who are my people, especially the residents of Vrindavan, who are so much drowning in the pond of bliss, Ananda Kunde, the pond of bliss. And I want to tell them. And of course, I would tell everybody else, but I want to tell them. What? Tadesha Tagyesha. Those people who are completely unaware. Agya means unaware. Don't know. Ishta means God. Tadya means my devotees were completely unaware that I'm God. Bhakta Ajitatam. I am won over by their devotional service. So Krishna is saying, I only want to go and interact with those people. I got no time. Well, I'm exaggerating, but I got no time for those who are serving me in the mood of awe and reverence. I accept the service as Lakshmi Narayan, not as Radha Krishna. Which brings him to the third point, where he says, before I go, I want my topmost devotee. I want my best devotee. I want the one who's closest to my heart to be there. Well, who's that? That's Radharani. So he goes to Radha. This I'm talking about Golok Vrindavan. It's not come down yet. Golok Vrindavan now. He goes there and says, my dear Radharani, it's time for me to appear in the material world. So I would like you to come with me because without you, it's just not the same. And she says, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. She says, no, please come. So she says, okay, I have 3 conditions. First condition is that Yamuna, the river Yamuna should be there. The Vrindavan Dham should be there. And third is Govardhan Hill. For those of you who know the background of Govardhan Hill, I will not go into the details, but even in Golok Vrindavan Dham, one day Radharani had expressed a desire to Krishna that, what we have here is lacking something. I need you to create or produce or manifest, maybe that's a better word, manifest a hill that's so beautiful and so full of, lakes, caves, flower gardens, orchards, beautiful trees, and beautiful breeze, all those kind of things. I said, no problem. So from his heart, he manifested Govardhan Hill in Golok Vrindavan. He said, that's where I really enjoy my time with you. So I want to make sure that you will manifest that there also. So 3 things. Vrindavan Dham itself, the Yamuna, and Govardhan. So just to keep the right mood, she said. So Radharani comes in as the best, the most, closest devotee. Now, so they're going there. And Krishna again goes back to his instruction that as Vasudeva Krishna in the battle of Kurukshetra, he is giving to Arjuna, and is telling him who can come to the level where they will have that kind of love, not level of Radharani, but pure love, unalloyed love in their heart that I would enjoy interacting with. So if I take you back to Bhagavad Gita, chapter 8, text 7, he says, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusma yuddhija mai arpita mano buddhi mame vashish asansya. He says, not only remember me all the time, but the main thing is second line. He says, mai arpita mano buddhi. Surrender your mind and your intelligence to me. And then I guarantee you will come to me. And in last chapter of Bhagavad Gita, 1865, what is he saying? Man manabhav badbhakto madhyaji mam namasko mame vashasi satyam te pratijane priyosime. Telling Arjuna, look, you are very dear to me, so let me give you a secret. Fix your mind upon me, man mana. Bhava bhakta. Perform devotional service from the heart to me. Offer me obeisances from the heart. Then you will come to me, which means you will become eligible to have the same level of interaction that I'm talking about, for which I'm coming to the material world. So those of us who are on the Vaidhi Bhakti background have to make sure we understand these 2 points. Actually, there's only 1 point. Have to fix your mind upon Krishna's lotus feet. And he says the same thing in chapter 12, where Krishna says, Arjuna asks, who's better, the impersonalist or pure devotees? And he's saying, the one who fixes his mind upon me. So fixing your mind upon him, fixing your intelligence upon him, surrendering your mind, surrendering your heart, surrendering your intelligence to him is the key. Because then only, one other point. Same thing is being told by Lord Chaitanya in Sikshashtakam, first one. Cheto dharpana marjanam. Lord Chaitanya is saying, as you chant more and more, the consciousness of your heart or your heart itself starts to become cleansed. Finally, you get to a point where Ashishava padatam punastuvam, where you know nothing but Krishna. Regardless of how he treats you, you know nothing. And before that, Sikshashtakam number 7, he's saying, Yugayitam nimishena chakshusha pravashaitam shunyayitam jagat sarvam govinda virhenme. That a moment without you, Krishna, starts to feel like whole millennium. Whole millennium. The whole world seems void to me without you. Krishna is saying, I want to interact with devotees at that level. But that is just the beginning. That is just the beginning. We're not come to the point where this particular verse is being spoken yet. So I'm just trying to build it to that point. So now, those people who are in Vrindavan, now we talk about specifically Vrindavan. Krishna is there, Shyam Sundar Krishna, where he has told or instructed his own internal potency, Yogamaya, make me forget I'm God. And of course, then you make everybody else forget they're God. I am God, even when they see all the evidence that I'm God. So he hides his godness in Vrindavan. Which brings me to one other point, and I hope I'm not digressing too much. See, when Krishna comes as his incarnation, as Krishna himself, he performs what we call pastimes or lila. Well, when we the conditioned souls, perform activities in the material world, then it's not called, our activity is not called pastimes. Rather, it's called time pass. It's just an activity. Krishna does something, the same thing is lila or pastime. We do the same thing, well, it's just activity or it's time pass or something not very good for us. That's what's called material activity. So what's the difference? Why this distinction? Well, let's look at it this way. All us human beings have 18 weaknesses. Four of them are also known as defects. We all know about that. So it's like we are an illusion, we have tendency to cheat, we make mistakes, and we have imperfect senses. Everybody knows those four. But on top of that, there's other 14 weaknesses that we know, but sometimes we don't think about them. Things like we get angry, we become sad, we start hankering, we get jealous, we become angry, we become proud, so on and so forth. So our activities, in general, the effort is to hide those weaknesses that we have inherently in us. That's just called activity or time pass, as a slang. Krishna, on the other hand, is completely perfect. He has no weaknesses, he has no defects. That's why he's called Achyuta. He doesn't fall down because there's no weakness, there's no defect. And that's why whatever comes from him, like the Vedas, they're perfect in every way. So when he comes down as an incarnation or himself, he sometimes manifests some of those weaknesses that don't exist in him. So, for example, Lord Nrsimhadev comes and gets angry. Right? Anger is not his characteristic. But he's doing that for a particular purpose, he's manifesting. So Lord Ram comes and he does a number of other activities at a human level. But he's not human. So therefore, he's manifesting qualities that are not in them. Therefore, it is called Leela or pastime. So, the reason I mentioned this thing that when we come to the verse, we'll talk about Radharani's jealousy, Radharani's anger, Radharani's pride, and Radharani's crying. So that's the background that I'm trying to build to come to that one. Okay. So now, everyone who's now in Vrindavan, all the devotees, Siddhas or otherwise, they all are completely unaware Krishna is God. So much so that even when they have evidence, like direct evidence, for example, Yashoda Maya seeing the universal form of Krishna in his mouth, and then immediately forgetting. The residents of Vrindavan seeing Krishna's opulence, being served by the demigods and lying down like Lord Vishnu, being worshipped by his energies, they come out and they say, no, that was just a dream. Krishna kills demons every day between breakfast and lunch. and they forget that it's God. Oh, Lord Narayan must have protected him. Mother Yashoda starts to pray to the demigods to protect her son. She doesn't realize she's praying to the people who, for Krishna's protection, who themselves pray to Krishna for their protection. How ironic is that? But because she doesn't realize. She doesn't realize. But in that non-realization of Krishna's godhood and the immense amount of love they have in their heart, they start to act very differently. Which is another irony, because again, go back to us, the conditioned souls. We love things that are material in nature. We think this is home. And in those two illusions, we start to act like mad persons. We'll rob, we'll kill, we'll cheat, we'll deceive, all sorts of things we'll do. Like a madman. Sometimes you see people get so angry because something happened they didn't like. And in their anger, God knows what they'll do. Even some of the, us so-called devotees, we behave in that way. On the opposite of the end of the spectrum, it's also madness, but it's called transcendental madness. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that, once again, building up to this verse. So, for example, most of us on this call have migrated from somewhere. Not all of us, but most of us have. Which means that we left our parents, we left our close relatives, brothers and sisters, etc., back home, wherever we came from, a few thousand miles away. And we might cry a little bit. Some of us probably did not cry at all. A few tears down the cheek, and that's about it. But when Krishna left Vrindavan to go to Mathura, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, they stopped cooking. They stopped cleaning their house. And they were crying so much that when Krishna had asked Uddhava to go to Vrindavan, he said, please make sure you meet my parents. And he said, sure, I will. But how would I know which one is your house, which is your parents' house? And he said, look for 2 rivers coming out of a house. And that would be those 2 rivers were the tears. Tears from the eyes of Nanda and Yashoda. That's the amount of crying they were doing. It became like rivers. Right? Krishna's friends, they loved him so much, but they considered him equal to them or less than them. I have 2 very quick stories I'll tell you about them, because otherwise I'll run out of time. One day, all the boys were playing together, covered boys with Krishna, and they decided to have this wrestling match. So 2 teams were formed, one with Sridama, the brother of Radharani, as the captain, and one Krishna as the captain. The rule was whoever loses the wrestling match will carry the winner on their shoulder, run a little distance and come back. So they were doing that. And Sridama was matched with Krishna, and Sridama defeated Krishna. And he told Krishna, okay, get down, I'll climb your shoulder and you run with me on your shoulder. Krishna refused. Sridama said, why? Why are you refusing? Krishna said, well, because my father is the king. Well, that's true. Nanda Maharaj is the king of Braja. Therefore, I'm a prince, and therefore I cannot do this. And Sridama said, it's not a choice. You may be prince in your house, not here. This is forest. So you follow the rules. Krishna said, no. Sridama said, if you don't follow the rules, you have to leave this game. Krishna got, puffed up. I said, okay. So Sridama said, get out of here, go see that tree, sit under that, and don't come back. So Krishna said, okay, I'll go there, and within 2 minutes, they'll miss me so much, they'll call me back. But they didn't. Krishna's sitting there under the tree, watching them play, having a great time. Sometimes the boys would start looking at Krishna. Sridama would say, don't even look at him, because he'll think we're missing him. Well, that may be true, but we don't want him to know. So they kept playing. Half an hour, 1 hour went by, and Krishna started saying, I'm still waiting, nobody's calling me. He got frustrated. And he said to himself, my God, I left Golok Vrindavan Dham for this. And then he got so frustrated, he started crying. When he started crying, Sridhama called him and said, now you're going to do that? Get down and climb on his shoulder? Krishna said yes. So they had no understanding. But they were doing this out of love. And they didn't care if they were embarrassing Krishna. So just fast forward, Krishna goes to Mathura, goes to the Kansa's assembly, he's killed everybody. Chanu, Mushtik, and the brothers of Kansa himself, they're all killed. Everybody's watching. Sridhama is one of the spectators. When he sees all this, comes down. And he says to Krishna, who are you? And Krishna says, what do you mean? Sridhama says, no, who are you? He said, what are you talking about? I'm your friend Krishna. Sridhama says, no way. My friend Krishna, I'm able to defeat him in wrestling. How can you defeat this wrestler the size of the mountain? You're not my Krishna. Krishna said, no, it is me. And Sridhama said, I'll believe that only if you wrestle with me. If I defeat you, then I'll know. So Krishna agreed. In front of thousands of people, there was a wrestling match between Sridhama and Krishna. Sridhama defeated him. And then, get this, Sridhama puts one foot on the chest of Krishna, raises both arms, says, yes, I declare this is Krishna. 10,000 people or more were watching Krishna defeated, lying down literally on the ground with Sridhama's foot on his chest. You would think it's very embarrassing, but Krishna was very pleased because he saw the love in the heart of Sridhama. And Sridhama was doing this totally unconscious of the fact that Krishna is God. Let's talk about the gopis. I'm just going a few steps, in a sequence. Gopis, Krishna plays the flute. All the 3 billion gopis show up in the middle of the night. They drop everything they were doing. Whatever they were doing, they drop. They come running to him. And he says, well, why are you here? You should go back. This is not nice. Good girls don't travel like that in the forest to meet a man. I'm not even your husband. And the whole interaction goes on. And, then they have a dance. The Rasalila. My point is, they'll give up anything and everything, not worry about the reputation. This is real top-class Sarvadhamana Paritij. They'll do that. Anyway, now let's go back to Mathura. Krishna has left Vrindavan. Everybody's in Vrindavan missing him. And in Mathura, Krishna has a cousin by the name of Uddhava, who's also a very, very close friend. A devotee of Krishna, but not in the same way as Vrindavan. Not even the same way as Arjuna was. Arjuna would lie down in the same bed with Krishna. He'll put his arms around his shoulders. They'll hold hands and they'll walk, they'll talk. Arjuna will call him Sakhe, Yadava, and all those kind of things. So Uddhava was not at that level. Uddhava had the complete understanding Krishna is God. Until he saw the universal form, Arjuna had no understanding Krishna is God. So Uddhava is starting with that point, Krishna is God. So that degree of formality is there. Krishna really loves Uddhava, so he wants him to learn what this Braja mood is, what this Vrindavan mood is. So he suggests to him, hey, go to Vrindavan, and console my parents, console the gopis and the gopas, that, I'm doing okay, and one day I'll show. So Uddhava leaves, thinking, I'm such a scholar, even Krishna comes to me for consultation. I'm a disciple of Brihaspati, so I'll go and teach them, to do properly. So he goes. He goes to Vrindavan and decides to preach to the gopis. And he starts by saying, don't worry, he's there, he's happy, just focus your mind upon him. And the gopis say, Uddhavji, you don't understand. Mora man nahi das bis. I don't have 10 or 20 minds. I have only one. But that mind is gone with Krishna. I don't have that anymore. I have only one heart. That's gone with Krishna. I have only one intelligence. That's gone with Krishna. Now, how do you want us to think? How do you want us to imagine? All we know is our Krishna is not with us. And they started crying. And the same thing happens when Raslila is happening and Krishna disappears. And gopis have gone totally mad. They're acting his pastimes. They're acting like they're Krishna. They're asking the trees and the animals and whatever they see, if they have seen Krishna. Finally, they come back to the bank of Krishna, Yamuna, thinking that if we chant his name, Krishna will show up because that is his nature. So they go there, and the whole concert, commonly known as Gopi Gita, starts. And I'm going to, again, not try to sing it, but say it, number 15 and number 17. Number 15 goes, Atati yad bhavan anhikananam tuti yugayate twam apashyatam kutila kuntalam shrimukham chate jada udikshatam pakshmakredrisham. In this verse, they're expressing their heart's feelings. They're saying, Krishna, when you go away to the forest to take care of the cows, a fraction of a moment, tuti, it's like, I think it's 1/16 or 1/1600 of 1 second. And they're saying it feels like a whole millennium because we're not seeing you. But when you do come back in the evening, Godhuli Vela, in the evening, we all line up to see you. And we see you, with your hair, curly hair on your face. And at that time, we cursed the creator Brahma, that not only he gave us only 2 eyes, instead of like 1,000 eyes he gave to Indra, or thousands of eyes to the peacocks, who don't even use them as eyes. He gave us only 2 eyes, we want to see you. But on top of that, he's so foolish, he gave us eyelids. So every time we blink, we can't see you. How foolish is that? And then number 17, they go in further. Rahasi samvidam hrechayodayam prahasitananam prema vichanam brahadurahashriyo vichyadhamute muhurati spriha muhyate mana. They're saying repeatedly our minds are bewildered. As soon as we start thinking about our intimate conversations that we had in secret, we start to think or feel the lust arising in our heart. And then we remember your smiling face, your loving glances, your broad chest. Then we feel such a severe hankering for you that we go crazy, we don't know what to do. So please, show up. That brings us to the point of this particular verse, where Radharani is talking like a mad woman. But what has happened? What has really happened? So let's analyze this a little bit. And this is where I'm going to be a little, not too detailed, because A, I'm running out of time. B, I didn't get a chance to revise this particular chapter, so I may miss some of the details. Anyway, we have Vaidhi Bhakti, and then you have, Prema Bhakti. Prema Bhakti, or let's just call it pure devotional service because otherwise it'll get confusing, has 9 forms. It's got Rati, which is attachment, Prem, which is like love in the heart, Man, which is like a little bit of pride, Pranay, which is again higher degree of love, Rag, higher degree of attachment, Anurag, that follows this higher degree of Anurag, which is even higher, Bhava, and then Mahabhava. So these are the 9 stages. So obviously Radharani is at the high stage. So let me just go back. So those devotees who are in the mellow of neutrality, Shantaras, they go up to the stage of Rati and Prem. But they stop there. Those who are in the servitor mode, they go Rati, they go Prem, they go Sneha, and they go Man, they go Pranay, and they go to Rag level. Those who are in the mood of friendship, Sakhiras, they go all those plus the beginning stage of Anurag. The Vatsalya Bhava, parental, they go to the end of Anurag. So they have all this Rati, Prem, Sneha, Man, Pranay, Rag, Anurag. They go to all that stage. And then The gopis who are the conjugal mood, they go to the bhav stage where, the heart is Krishna's. They take all sorts of liberties and they are willing to give up everything. But among the gopis, the highest gopi is Radharani. She goes to Mahabhav. But even Mahabhav has another higher stage called Mahamadanaksha. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. So again, let me step back a little bit. And let's say that in each of these 5 mellows, there is 2 divisions. One is called yoga, one is called viyoga. Yoga means union. So you're together. And viyoga means you're separated. So again, obviously, in the transcendental world, viyoga, separation, is considered higher because the longing to see Krishna, longing to be with Krishna, increases significantly, which is basically what Krishna tells the gopis after he appears in front of them, after they've sung the Gopi Geet. And they ask him, what kind of a lover are you? There are 3 types of people. One, let's see if I can remember it. One is who's willing to reciprocate according to whatever he receives. Second is one who's not willing to reciprocate no matter what. Third, who just simply doesn't care. So which one are you? And Krishna said, no, none of those. I simply disappeared to increase the longing in your heart for me, simply to increase your love for me. So my point is, Viyoga is the highest level of loving, way higher than even yoga. And then you have another stage called Rudha, which means very strong level of love. The queens of Dwarka had that. And they have higher than the Adhirudha, which the gopis have. So I'm just trying to give you a feel for the higher and higher levels of love these people have in their hearts. And then Adhirudha has 2 divisions also, which is Madan or Madan, which, basically you're to the point of kissing and all that, hugging, kissing, that's going on. But then you have Mohan, which means completely enchanted. Now you don't know. Now you lost your mind. You have no idea. And in that, there are different divisions. One of them was referred to in a previous verse called Chitta Jalpa. And in this verse, we're talking about Ujjalpa, which is where Radharani is manifesting the qualities of jealousy, which is not there. Because if she was jealous, she wouldn't be, wanting her to be with Chandravali. She wouldn't be getting him time with Lalita, Vishakha, and Narasaki. She wouldn't be getting him married to Tulsi Devi, so on, Vrinda Devi, so on and so forth. This is not jealousy. Pride. Radharani's love is totally pure. How can there be pride? But she manifests that because of this Mahamadanakhya or Mohan feature of the love she has. And then it's talking like a mad person. Imagine talking to a bee. Who talks to a bee? Which sane person would talk to a bee? But she's doing that. And she has total unawareness. She's talking to a bee. She thinks it really is a messenger from Krishna. And she's giving a message back to Krishna through that message that she said. So once again, it's expressing a very, very high level of love, very high degree of love for Krishna in the heart. Something that we can read but not really understand. But reading about these things basically gives us an understanding of the level of loving exchanges between Krishna and Radha. I'm not sure I can remember completely, but Narottam Das Thakur sings, Rupa Raghunath Pade, Kabe Hobe Akuti, Kabe Ami Bhujibo, Yugale Piriti. So Narottam Das Thakur is saying, when will I read these books of Rupa Goswami and lectures from Raghunath Das Goswami so that I can somehow or the other understand the nature of the love between Radha and Krishna? So it's way beyond us, way beyond us. But we have been privileged by mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by mercy of Lord Chaitanya, to have these books available to us. And at least we can get some, maybe 0.001% of the appreciation of what's going on. And in appreciation of that, hopefully we can perform some degree of devotional service with some amount of love in our heart. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So I'll leave some time for the questions.
Radhika not there? Interesting.
I think she got bored.
Yeah, she's not there. Thank you very much, Rupanuga Prabhu.
Thank you.
It's interesting to hear the story you told about wrestling match between Sudama and Krishna. Putting his leg on the chest and all other things. I didn't hear, but anyway, it was interesting to see new things I'm hearing from you and so nicely, logically explaining. Thank you very much. I see Jai Govinda Prabhu there.
Thank you, Prabhu.
See you, Jai Govinda Prabhu.
Jai Govinda Prabhu, Jai Ho.
Hare Krishna, Rupanuga Prabhu.
Krishna,
So
Prabhu.
nice to see you.
Thank
Even
you.
nicer to hear from you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you. Privilege.
I'm dumbstruck.
Oh, Hare Bol.
I can't comprehend how you can relate all these advanced, like at the end of the class, all these advanced technical aspects of devotional service. I'm completely. It's like the fifth wave, if there was such a thing, of nectar of devotion. It's like so elevated technical stuff. Anyway, like I said, I'm awestruck, and thank you for that. I have one comment, and it's a very poor comment in relation. It's like a duck trying to speak after the swan, but the relation about the same point that Manu was talking about, that pastime where after the wrestling match, Krishna allowed Sudam to defeat him, and how Krishna was put in his place because he didn't want to follow the rules, yet he was thinking he was somebody better. We see the same thing. I know in my childhood play, we would play football, and sometimes the person who supplied the football would make up the rules.
Yes.
And then we would have to challenge him. He'd be feeling superior because I have the football, so you play by my rules. But we'd have to be a little bit aggressive or assertive and say, listen, you can make up the rules if you like, but if you don't want to follow our rules, then go away.
Take your football and go away.
Take your football and go away.
Yes.
So, and I have a question also, and it's not a technical question by any means. It's a reference question. When you were talking at the beginning about those different pastimes of Krishna and the details, and I'm just wondering, it's not a challenge by any means. It's more, I'd like to know where were you getting that evidence from, because it was absolutely amazing.
You talking about the wrestling or the games?
The wrestling. Yeah, my notes are in the other room where I was listening. Yeah, just like some of the details of, gosh, I can't even remember. But obviously you were getting reference from
I can tell you that
source. Yeah.
So Padma Puran and Skanda Puran.
Oh.
They have many pastimes that we don't hear. No.
And you have translations of that, or you have it in Hindi?
I have translation of Padma Puran, not Skanda Puran. So those, what I do also is I hear these classes, and some, really, advanced, established ISKCON devotees, like in the Dimna Swami. You have Radhanath Swami, you have Amarendra Prabhu, you have Gaurang Prabhu. So, His Holiness Lasam Swami. So, I hear class from them. If I hear the same story from two of them, then I say, okay, it's genuine. Right. So, that's another source.
Yeah.
And typically they will say, it's from Padma Puran, Skanda Puran, or whichever Puran. And so, even if I don't have access to them, those books, just because I heard at least two of these people have said it, it's genuine for me. So that's basically because my source.
Thank you. Yeah, and I like the point you listen, you hear at least from two.
Yes.
Two different person.
Yes.
Yeah, it's the same with me. Just because you hear it doesn't mean that it's coming from an authorized source. But if you hear it more,
Exactly.
yeah. So,
Exactly.
okay. Well, thank you. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
I see
Thank
Divya
you,
Bhakti
Mataji.
answer.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. It's so
Krishna.
wonderful to have you giving the class again.
Thank you, Mataji.
I don't know how you said you didn't have time to prepare, but honestly, that's not evident. Oh my goodness, you give such wonderful
Thank you.
classes.
Hare Krishna.
And when you're singing, chanting the verse, my heart just swells. So thank you so much. It
Oh.
was just wonderful. Thank you. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Nanda Gopal raised his hand. Nanda Gopal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Rupanuga Prabhu,
Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dhanavad Pranam. It's as usual. Your class, I'm not surprised that your class would be an excellent class. It's as usual. It's so much detail, so much nuances. And this one I wanted to ask, similar to Jayavanda Prabhu, the reference for the last bit of different levels of love and where is it? This one, nectar of devotion or
Some of it is nectar of devotion, but a lot of it is Ujjwal Nilmani,
Ujjwal Ninam? Okay.
which is also being referenced in the purport.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one more thing, you mentioned that we like in a sense, Krishna doesn't really care. Somebody's knocking at the door. I won't be able to ask the question now. I'll ask the question after somebody else.
Sure, no problem.
Hi, Rupanuga Prabhu.
Oh, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Jai Guru Maharaj.
Thank you for giving the class. It was really nice. I just appreciate the example you're setting for us too, because it is a somewhat challenging part of the Bhagavatam to speak from. And like Jagavana was saying, and this is characteristic of all your classes, they're always rooted in what you've
Thank you,
heard
Prabhu.
and the Shastra. So it's very solid, and I appreciate being able to hear it. Thank you for traveling all the way from Toronto to speak to us, Prabhu. I see none of
Thank you, then. Thank you very much.
I think you mean traveling from the spiritual realm. All the way to
That's why you call it pretender. That's me.
On to you, Nanda Gopal Prabhu.
Oh, the question is, Prabhu, I don't know. Somebody asked this now when I'm away. You mentioned that Krishna does not care when we are worshipping him in a mood of awe and reverence. He only gives up to liberation and not really the love, but only when we come to the mood of Braja, Prem, then Brajavasi's mood, then we get the love of Krishna. Something like that. I mean, because he comes under the spell of that love.
So, Prabhu, as you know, the sadhana bhakti is in two parts. One is the Vaidhi bhakti, and this is Raganuga bhakti. So, Vaidhi bhakti is strictly rules and regulations with complete knowledge that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. The whole, opulence, the majesty, all that is there. And really, the only relationship you have at that time is, servitorship. Your Das, Krishna is master, right? And Krishna, that is a business relationship in a way, because all the formalities are there. And he says, Ashwar Sthil Prem, Nahi More Priti. Like, I have no attraction to love in your heart. He's not denying love in your heart. Love in your heart, but mixed with the knowledge of my opulence, my majesty. And as you know, Rupa Goswami in Nectar of Devotion says exactly the same thing. He's saying, Anya Abhilashita Shunyam, Gyan Karmadi Anavritam, Anukulyan Krishnanushilam Bhakti Uttama. He's talking about pure devotional service, saying when there's no other desire, no desire for liberation, no desire for, even promotion to the spiritual world, nothing. That's the Nadhanam Najanam Sundarim Kavita Mujabdishkamaya. 6th Ashtakam, 4th verse. Same thing. None of that is there. Right? So then, and it's not mixed with jnana or karma either. So there's no speculation going on. There's no material desires left. At that point in time, you graduate to what's known as Raganuga Bhakti. What is Raganuga Bhakti? Now you're taking shelter of a pure devotee who's in the mood that you want to serve in. So whether it's your Dasya Bhav or your Vatsalya Bhav or Sakha Bhav or Madhuri Bhav, you're taking shelter of somebody in that mood, a pure devotee in that mood. So that pure devotee is known to be Ragatmika Bhakta. They've always been there, eternally. So Nitya Siddhas, for example. Right? So you take shelter of one of them. That is called Raganuga Bhakti. And then your purification goes on. And eventually you move to what's known as the preliminary stage of Prema, which is Bhav Bhakti. And then you graduate from there to Prema Bhakti. Right? But that's the, then now we're talking about, today we're talking about the 9 different forms of Prema Bhakti. So I mean, it's not simple, it's very complicated, and certainly not easy to get. The only reason we even talk about is that we should know how far we have to go. You know, and many times people ask me, so Prabhuji, where were we before we came to the material world? Were we ever in the... And I always give the answer that Prabhupada gave, which is, why do you care? What difference does it make? Let's worry about how we're going to go back. Right? So that's the only reason we study these things and try to understand a little bit of this, just to get an appreciation to know how far we have to go. I mean, Radharani and Krishna disappeared from Ras Leela because not everybody was Nitya Siddha Bhakta. And they were very, very exalted devotees. The Vedas personified were there. The sages of Dandikaranya were there. Those devotees whose last birth in the material world, they were there. Some demigods were there. Narad Muni was there. Lord Shiva was there. That's very exalted gathering. And I was saying, I don't like this. The mood is not right. Radha disappeared. Krishna says, I can't be with 3 billion gopis. Radha is not there. The 3 billion gopis not as valued as one Radharani. So he disappears too. Right? So again, my point is, we need to understand how far we have to go. So let's work hard to go that far. Let's not worry about where we were. That's useless question that doesn't do anything good for our devotional service. Right? So that's the reason. That's the reason.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Sure. I hope that made sense.
Thank you very much. We have to go too far. We have to go too far. We are not even close to.
Yeah, we have to go very far.
Very too far.
Yeah,
Thank you
and that's
very much.
why we have to work so hard. We have to work very hard.
I'm trying to, but they don't know.
Mataji, we all are trying. That's why we are Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti means trying. But keep trying. Because only if we keep trying, we'll get there. If we stop, well, then it's only backward journey. We are on a very slippery slope. If we don't keep trying to go forward, we'll slip back. Very easy.
I hope so. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mataji. Nice to see you.
Yes, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
You send Prabhu ki Jai Ho. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. How are you?
Very nice to see you.
Same here, Prabhu.
Lecture. Great. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you very much.
When you're narrating, don't try to find where.
Sorry, Prabhu?
That if you fall in some gutter, if somebody gives a hand, don't say whose hand it is, which religion it belongs, all those things. Just take the hand, get out of that place. That's what I remember. So when you're telling me that.
That's right. Good example.
Thank you, Prabhu. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Nice class. We
Thank
missed
you,
it.
Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Nandini,
so much,
yeah.
Ashti. Very nice
Thank
class.
you, Prabhu.
Very
Thank you.
Class.
really.
Thank you so much. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Usha.
Prabhu, I had one question.
Yes, Mataji.
Prabhu, I was thinking when you talked about Krishna and Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, everybody. So how was Krishna born to them more than one time or just once?
Sorry, Mataji, I did not understand questions. Can you ask again?
Okay, like when Krishna was born to Vasudev and Devaki,
Yes.
was he born as Krishna? Like Krishna was born one time, or was he their son from birth before too?
Oh, I see. So, Mataji, this is cyclical. This happens every day, Brahma once.
Okay.
So, yes, so multiple times. And that's why some of the pastimes are slightly different in each appearance. And that's why sometimes you hear different versions of the same pastime. So it's not that they're inconsistent, it's just that, something different happened in a different kalpa.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
Sure, you're welcome.
Anyone else? I don't.
Prabhu, I wanted to note down so many things because one concept's bringing the new concept, one definition was bringing the new definition, but I was unable to catch up.
But this is recorded, isn't it?
I
Yes,
don't
it's
think
recorded
so.
on Vancouver Official. I'll
Oh,
send
okay.
it to you.
Yeah, I thought it was recorded. No?
It's recorded on ISKCON Vancouver Official.
So it's recorded there?
Yes.
On the YouTube? On the YouTube?
Yeah, on YouTube, it's on Vancouver, ISKCON Vancouver Official.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if that's the case, then yeah, just listen to
I'll
that.
just go. Yeah, I joined late today, so that's why. So
No problem. That's okay.
thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Nice to see
Happy
you.
Diwali and happy Govardhan also.
Yes,
Yeah.
you too.
Yeah,
You
just
too.
I forgot to say.
Yes. So tell me, today, as we speak, today, 5,000 years ago, what is Krishna doing right now?
Holding it.
Huh? What's that?
Yesterday he was holding the bread.
Yesterday, no, he was not holding it yesterday.
Today, even too. So he'll be holding it for 1 week.
Yesterday, he was not holding it.
Today he was holding it.
Oh, that is the Nanda Maharaj.
Talk about that.
The last day.
No. It is the puja of Nanda Maharaj performs.
Correct.
Objects, saying that why are you doing to the Indra puja? Stop it. We'll do the puja for the Govardhan.
Today was the discussion. I'm sorry. Yesterday was discussion. Today is the puja.
Oh, how come?
No, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. Forgive me. I didn't say it right. Diwali day was the discussion, which is Sunday, right? 12th. Yesterday was the puja and the circumambulation and all that. Then Indra got angry, right? So today's Tuesday. Okay, so I'm sorry. Today, correct. Tuesday, 2 days later, he picked it up.
Oh. So today he's holding, right?
So
today
he's holding
it.
Yes. Correct. So today's holding it. For the next 7 days, he'll be holding it.
This class is without preparation. You can imagine when you prepare, then the class is
prepared.
More advanced.
Then it will go over our heads more.
It's so funny.
और सर पर से उतरेगी. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
What Krishna is doing today.
Manu speaks so slow. We can't hear you.
We can hear you, Prabhu.
Oh, can you hear me now properly?
Yes.
Now,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Come close
What
to
I
the
was
mic.
telling is, thank you for asking us what Krishna is doing today. You have to recollect.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you, bro. But
Thank you.
normally we put a picture of Govardhan Hill being held up in the thing in the Govardhana Puja. So everybody thinks that he is lifting. That's what is also possible. Thank you for bringing us
Sure.
reference
Thank
to
you.
context.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Britta,
Hare
you
Krishna.
want to say
Krishna.
something?
It
You're
looks like Prabhuji is here in Vancouver all the time. Whenever you give class, we don't
Yeah.
miss Toronto and everything. You are here all the time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we'll end the class here. Okay. Let's chant 3 times the Maha Mantra for the benefit of all the living entities. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram, Ram Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. May their lordships and Srila Prabhupada bless all of us so that we fit and fine and serve them wherever we are, especially come together to build a wonderful new temple here. Thank you. Thank you all of you for joining. Thank you very much, Rupanuga Prabhu, once again.
Thank you, Prabhu.
I hope you'll be regular from now onwards at least.
Let's hope.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare
All of you have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining morning program. And today is Tuesday. Jayaganda Prabhu, you want to announce what are you doing today? Are you there? Divya Bhakti?
Yeah, I'm here.
You are
Hare
there?
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Today is the Srimad Bhagvatam, first canto. And this part of the first canto, there's a lot of overview of the Mahabharata and the different characters. It's very, well, any part of the Srimad Bhagavatam is sweet. But it's not as, let's say, far along as the 10th canto, and certainly not the caliber of the class today, which is certainly for the exalted Vaishnavas, by an exalted Vaishnava. But it's ever sweet. So we shouldn't make the mistake of thinking, oh, we're on the 10th canto now, so we don't need to hear the first canto. It's like the Maha Mantra. I've chanted the Maha Mantra once, therefore everything's fine. No, we continually hear it, we continually chant, and it becomes sweeter and sweeter, and it's ever fresh. So first canto, I can't remember the exact chapter, but please come and join us 1 hour this evening on the Kartik Zoom channel, and I'm posting that in our WhatsApp reminder group for Srimad Bhagavatam evening class. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Jagvendra Prabhu. Hare Krishna, all of you. Have a wonderful day. Hari Bo.